right, firing off another hour of the Steve Gruber Show. Glad to have you here as we put our foot into the football to kick things off. Fighting for you from the foxhole freedoms we do every single day. There's no better place to be when you're looking for truth and answers and better analysis than anywhere else. Three big things to know this hour. Number one, it's been 50 days. 50 days, and I have questions. Where are the Epstein files, JFK files, RFK files, MLK files? Where are they? Maybe even bigger. What are UFOs? You told us we'd have the answers. Where are they? Number two, more than 60 universities all over this country being investigated for anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. Harvard, Brown, Columbia, and the University of Michigan, among others on the list. Congratulations. Nicely done. And number three, the Democratic message these days, such as it is, has become all about pushing hatred for anything that's considered pro-American or certainly pro-Donald Trump. They have become completely unhinged, disconnected, fearful, with no clear leadership or direction, certainly no coherent message to deliver to the American people. They are officially lost in the political wilderness. They're desperate to stay relevant, but they've got no solid ideas to promote or sell. They're clearly spinning out of control, terrified of where things are heading for them, which seems to be down the toilet, by the way. Politico's latest headline reads, "Frustrated Dems unleash the F-bomb." It's all they have left, apparently. Listen.
Somebody slap me and wake me the up, because I'm ready to get on with it.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Off.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk and his hackers don't know.
To think that Elon Musk or Donald Trump give a about our public schools.
It's total absolute
Trump.
I don't swear in public very well, but we have to Trump.
Apparently, Democrats think the foul language will somehow endear them to the common American, since their policies are anything but popular. They're desperate for your vote, but they're losing traction. It's obvious. Americans generally respond to common sense, not wild, incoherent rants just because they drop a few F-bombs. They also don't respond to cringy social media videos. Here's 82-year-old Democrat Representative Rosa DeLauro trying to sound like a 12-year-old. Ah, yes, it's something to behold. Listen.
Ranking Rizzler on appropriations, serving Connecticut's 3rd District. It's time to enter your dark academia Congress era. All right, besties, House appropriation is the money moves in Congress. We are not chasing the bag, we are the bag. Democrats are making life smoother through government funding. It's giving, it's giving. So Sigma, main character energy. But Republicans' Project 2025 is mad sus.
Yeah, that continues on for quite a bit longer. I'm not going to make you watch and listen to it anymore. It's too much. It's just too much. Nice purple hair, though. The woman looks like a Batman villain. But she's apparently the Democrat Party's best foot forward? Really? That's what you've got? It's a very sad day when that's the case. Dozens of other Democrats are taking to social media to try to stay relevant, too. How about Eric Swalwell in what looks more like a hostage video than anything else? Check this out.
What a week, huh? You know how weird this week was? I went to the State of the Union, and the president didn't even speak. He just sat up in the visitors gallery like a total weirdo and let his press secretary do all the talking. What a week.
I guess that's supposed to be funny. There's that F-bomb again, though. No one thinks you're funny or relatable, Swalwell. You're getting paid to represent your constituents, allegedly the working class, not daylight as some social media influencer. And by the way, that's also the same Eric Swalwell that tweeted he had walked out of Trump's speech last week. You know why? Well, because nobody would have ever noticed that he had walked out if he hadn't pointed it out on social media, because nobody cares about Eric Swalwell. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro also took a stab at it all. Try this on for size. You know, I'm not even sure what he's trying to accomplish there. But how hasn't this party realized that abortion's not going to be their winning message? Yes, abortion is a dead issue for Democrats, and yes, I said it. One of CNN's political analysts had this somber diagnosis for the party, looking at their failed messaging, looking at their failed party, looking at their failure across the board. Here it is.
If you talk to Democrats, they recognize they are in a hole. I mean, the image of the party is probably in a weaker position than at any point since, I think, the 1980s, the Reagan and George H.W. Bush era. But
yeah, it's true, by the way. Democrat popularity at the worst point it's been since the 1980s, after Jimmy Carter's debacle. And if you think that was disheartening for the left, wait until you hear Democrat strategist Van Jones. Van Jones, he has this take on it all. Listen.
In terms of Democrats and where they go from here, this last week we did see them some people try to protest during the president's address, and then House leadership getting onto them, other Democrats calling them out. They still seem to be wandering around trying to figure this out. What's your take?
Can we ask another question? Do I be talking about my own party? Can we talk about Ukraine or something? No. Look, man, we're screwed. I mean, we don't know. No, Democrats don't know what to do. This is a nightmare. Somebody like Donald Trump, we thought we'd at least have Hakeem Jeffries in the speaker's chair to hold him back if we didn't have Kamala in there to do the right thing. Listen, the Democratic Party is going through a massive set of internal crises. You have a party that got trapped two ways. One, defending a broken status quo that nobody likes because they thought that Donald Trump was going to make it worse. But when you're defending the status quo, you're going to lose. And then offending most people in the country, calling everybody sexist and racist and transphobic and every other name, and then saying, please follow us. That's not a good strategy, folks. Defending a broken status quo and offending most of the country turns out is not as popular as my party thought it was going to be. And so it's going to take a while for people to get it figured out. I don't like talking about this. I'd rather be beat up. Can you give me something I can beat up Shermichael about? I don't want to talk about my own party.
I know. It's a tough question.
You got buried, Van, but he's right. He's right. It's not popular in any way. He was exactly right when he said the Democrats are screwed because the Democrats are screwed. You see, Democrats could have distanced themselves from these radical issues. They could have veered from the influence of figures like Barack Obama and his DEI dreams that have turned into nightmares for this country. They could have cut ties with the extreme left and all its sewage and returned to their roots as a party that represented the American working class with patriotism. Presidents like Kennedy, Truman, even Bill Clinton at times. Far better than anything I've seen lately. Instead, they chose to immerse themselves in the sewer. Instead of offering real solutions, they've done nothing but scream and curse, their tantrums on full display during the presidential address last week. They take responsibility for none of it. None of it. I'm going to get more into that when we get back. Because the other thing, not only are they not able to craft a coherent message, when they're called out for it, they're not able to craft a coherent defense of their defenseless message. Oh, it's compounding. Oh, it's a train wreck. It is sewage. You're watching the Steve Gruber Show. Make sure you follow me on Twitter today. They're back up and running after a big hack yesterday. We'll tell you about that coming up later. Thank you for being here. All right, picking up with accountability now, right? Accountability. Because they're not taking accountability or responsibility for their actions at the Democrat Party these days. They put out the shadow boxing videos and other shameful and cringeworthy attempts at trying to be relevant. How about newbie Democrat Senator Andy Kim? He says it's Trump's fault that the Democrat Party can't be civil. It's Trump's fault they can't behave themselves, you see. Here it is.
So, yes, President Trump is bringing the rhetoric and the discourse and the civility in politics down. I don't like that type of behavior that I see across the board, across the entirety of that chamber, whether it's what we've seen with Marjorie Taylor Greene in the past or people on my side of the aisle. I do think we want to hold ourselves up to a standard. But what we see is that it's Donald Trump that's the one that's bringing our politics down to a level of incivility that I think the vast majority of Americans can't stand.
Yeah. How's that a winning message? Donald Trump, the sitting president, duly elected by Americans, 77.5 million, just makes us so enraged we don't know how to act like adults. Okay, thanks, Andy. But hey, if that message doesn't work out for them, they're more than willing to play the race card, as always, even though it doesn't really work anymore. Representative Al Green was censured, as you know, for unhinged screaming and cane shaking in his outburst during Trump's address last week, and he says the consequences for his actions are in the same class as the KKK burning a cross in his yard. Oh, Lord, here he is.
Invidious discrimination in the House of Representatives. I'm a son of the segregated South. The rights that the Constitution recognized for me, my friends and neighbors denied. I had to sit in the back of the bus, the balcony of the movie, drink from a colored water fountain, and my relatives who committed some crimes were locked up in the bottom of the jail. I know what invidious discrimination looks like. The Klan burned a cross in my yard. I know what it smells like. I was in filthy waiting rooms, and I've been in places where I didn't want to be, and I know what it sounds like. I've been called all kinds of ugly names. So I know invidious discrimination. And when the speaker decided that I would be removed, and then there was this motion, this resolution to censure me, it became obvious to me that I was not being treated as others were. Mm-hmm. And candidly speaking, it is invidious discrimination, harmful discrimination.
No, please.
I don't...
Sorry, Al. Nobody buys any of that. CNN's polling found that 80% of Americans found Al Green's behavior inappropriate. In his defense of it there in the Breakfast Club, inconceivable. But Al wants us to believe it's racist to think any of that. That's right. Democrats are on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue again. And instead of taking any accountability, they blame you and me. Democrats will likely try to shout and scream their way through the midterm elections, but November made it clear that Americans are over those tactics. You see, the Democrat Party is not a serious political party at this point. Frankly, it may not survive. Especially not when geniuses like Representative Jasmine Crockett can't even remember what laws are supposed to be and how they're supposed to be enforced. Oh, she is a genius. Here she is.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations.
How would we know? How would we know if they're rapists, child traffickers, murderers, if we don't vet them at all? It's not a crime to come into the country illegally. Gee, Jasmine, you said it right there. And let me help you out. Let me help you out right there. U.S. Code, Title 8, Chapter 12, Section 1325 says any alien who enters or attempts to enter the United States at any time or place other than as designated by immigration officers or eludes examination or inspection or attempts to enter or obtains entry to the United States by a willfully false or misleading representation shall be fined or imprisoned. Shall be. One or the other. Fine or imprisonment. If you're going to be drafting legislation as a lawmaker, you should probably be familiar with the laws that are already on the books, don't you think? It's embarrassing, almost as embarrassing as this from Kamala Harris, who still has learned nothing from the 24 election. When it talks about messaging and being lost, I mean, she's learned nothing. Here she is.
So we did DoorDash because I wanted Doritos. And they were about, the red carpet part was about to start. Nobody wanted to leave to go to the grocery store. So it was DoorDash. And I'm thinking about this, so I was willing to give up whatever might be the tracking of Kamala Harris's particular fondness for nacho cheese Doritos for the sake of getting a big bag of Doritos as I watched the Oscars.
All right. She thinks Doritos are just hilarious. She knows nothing about what it means to be relatable to average Americans. I can barely stand to even listen to that 30-second clip, and thank God I don't have to listen to her address the press as the President of the United States. We dodged a bullet there. Democrats are running around clueless and aimless. They have the chance to try and reclaim what they once stood for, maybe even become a party that is truly relevant again. Or then keep following the Clintons and the Obamas and Kamala, who've lost their credibility, and just hope that the same Americans who rejected them on November the 5th are somehow willing to make the same mistake and give them another shot at burning this country to the ground? I don't think so. The Democrat Party has reached new depths. In fact, Democrats are the least popular they've been in my lifetime. But this is the one thing they've actually earned, to be despised. I hope they keep Jasmine Crockett out front. I hope Kamala Harris runs for governor of California to keep reminding people of how lost in the wilderness Democrats really are. I hope Josh Shapiro keeps putting out videos of AC/DC as his soundtrack. He's about as thunderstruck as I don't know what. It's remarkable. The Democrats lost in political wilderness. No message. Rudderless. Clueless. Hopeless. Welcome to the Steve Gruber Show. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, my friends. We need 25 new followers today on Twitter and Facebook. We're growing something here. You're part of it. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be right back.